So we talked in another video about what curiosity means. And now another term that we want to explore is why do we require courage in order to get curious? Little kids ask over 100 questions a day, sometimes many more, and it doesn't seem to take them a lot of courage to do it, right? Why is the sky blue? What makes the clock tick? How can you swim underwater? How come things float? How come something sinks? They've got all kinds of questions, and it doesn't seem to require much courage at all. So the word courage is actually comes from the root that means of the heart. And so when we are courageous, it's actually like we are coming with energy that from the heart. Well, little children their questions come from just this burning desire to know things. But once we become adults, something happens. First of all, our questioning drops off, whereas kids ask over 100 questions a day. By the time we get to middle school, it drops to about 20 questions a day, and as adults, even less. And I'm not talking about questions like what's for dinner. I'm talking about questions that are actually meaningful, questions that are helping us to grow and expand and learn. So our question asking drops off. It drops off a little bit because of what happens in school. It drops off because we're afraid of looking stupid. How many of us have not asked a question in some place because we were afraid of looking like the dumb one in the room when our question probably would have been the really valuable thing to have happened? So we're afraid to ask questions for certain reasons. And at Courage to be Curious, what we're asking questions about is we're asking questions about our inner world. And we're asking questions about how we work. We're asking questions about how other people work and how relationships work. And those are topics where we sometimes feel vulnerable. We feel vulnerable to understand what's going on inside of us, to look at our insecurities, to look at our areas where we maybe have doubt, maybe we haven't been so successful, maybe we have fear. It's hard. It takes courage to look at somebody else, to get curious about them. Sometimes it's easier just to blame somebody, like you're doing stuff and it's really pissing me off. And I'm just happy with that conclusion. But actually getting curious about what's going on for another person can be scary. And maybe we don't know how. So, the courage part of Courage to be Curious is that part where we go deep in our heart and we say, I would rather know and understand myself and know and understand another person than to live with assumptions that might be inaccurate, to live and sustain with fears, with insecurities, with vulnerabilities that make me feel weak. I'd rather have the courage to inquire than to be stuck living with those things. And so that's the courage part of Courage to be Curious. And if you are that seeker, learner, and grower, like this is where you belong. This is where we will give you the tools, we will model it, we will talk about it, we will share stories about it, and equip you to be really effective because we want to help people transform their lives, their leaderships, and their relationships for the good through productive and courageous curiosity.